Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening? Hey, are you there? Hey, are you listening? Or do you just not care?
Hey, are you listening? This is a podcast exploring the past, present, and future of Christian music. My name is Joel. I'm here with my good friend Brandon, and we connected over a mutual love of some particular artists, but also have different tastes when it comes to things. And so we get to show each other new stuff all the time and invite some friends along for the journey as well. And we actually have a friend who is here with us today. He's a former youth pastor, current restaurateur. He's a great drummer and a bass player in a pinch. Join me in welcoming our good friend, Chris Mims.
Insert the clap tracks here. What's up, guys?
There they are. I need to program those in here.
You totally should.
Yeah.
Hold on. Do you have presets on there for stuff like that?
Yeah.
Nice.
But there is applause tracks on this, but I haven't ever used them.
I thought you were going to say wrestler, and I was like, man, I did not know that side. Like, what?
Here we go.
Hey, glad to be here, guys. That's awesome. And as a matter of fact, I am a wrestler. Not really.
Former world heavyweight champion. You can see him coming up at WrestleMania.
Oh, Mims.
I'm excited to be here, guys.
This is fun.
Long time listener, first time caller.
We've known each other for a little while.
Good little bit. Yeah. 2014, 15, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Met before I came on staff. And
It feels longer than that to me.
we were in
for
some of the same
reason.
circles just because
Yeah.
of student ministry stuff back in the day. But yeah.
Yeah. Man, I'm pumped to have you here.
Yeah.
We've had lots of music conversations throughout the years. Have a lot in common. Recently went to see MXPX together. Brandon bailed on that for his wife.
You know, MXPX versus Anniversary. Like, you got to weigh your options, Brandon.
Man, I just knew if I was in that crowd, there was going to be songs that were played where everyone's just like, oh, they're doing it. And I'm like, oh, what?
I feel there was a handful of people there who were in that same boat, though. Like, there was some people there who were just, like, all about it. And then there was a few there who were just, yeah, this is good.
As someone who didn't go, I think one thing I saw afterwards was that everyone just was like, man, it was a great show. And I feel like from just hearing from y'all and other people, I feel like the expectations were so high for a show like that. And because a lot of times it's hard to live up to that.
Yeah.
But I think it was just cool, like seeing the people who did go to the show, like, no one I saw that left was like, oh, I'm upset that they didn't do this or whatever. Like everyone was like, man, that was a great show. So
There are like bands that you go see live, and then there are like, I don't know. There are bands that have like a presence, and especially like a good like frontman, I feel like makes such a big difference. And Mike Herrera is just like a really good like John Foreman level like frontman for a band.
Yeah.
Where you're just part of it the whole time, and he's so engaging. Whereas a lot of people just get up and sing songs, which is fine.
Yeah, yeah. I would prefer see the John Foreman or Mike Herrera though. Like, is somebody who's going to involve the crowd. Somebody who's like, he was interacting with guys off the stage and children, everything. Kept it very family friendly and everything as well. Like, it wasn't like this is for the adults. This is for the old '90s guys. It was for everybody in attendance, and it was a whole lot of fun. So much nostalgia in that show for myself. Like, it was fantastic.
Man, when he threw his bass across the stage and simultaneously caught another one to like hit the last note of a song, that was pretty epic.
It was epic. It was epic. I waited around after and got a set list of a drumstick from Yuri Rulli, which I was really pumped about
really
too.
cool.
So they had a meet and greet afterwards, and I'm still kicking myself for not staying for the meet and greet.
You didn't need it. You got the set list and the drumstick.
I did. But maybe next time.
Mims told me, he was like, I'm going to use this drumstick for Easter. And then he didn't do it.
And I left it home. We had to get up so early Easter morning, and I had it sitting out on the counter, so I would grab it, and then I walked right out without it. I remembered important things like coffee. I forgot the drumstick.
It happens. It's all good. It's all good. Well, man, we're super pumped that you're here and excited to talk today. You brought an album today when I reached out to you. I was like, hey, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to listen to? And this was kind of a struggle for you.
Very much so. There were so many, like, I mentioned MXPX being nostalgic. I thought about 6 different MXPX records. I thought about a lot of the music that I grew up listening to kind of in my formative music years, elementary through middle school into high school. So many different albums I could have chose here. Like, y'all have to have me on about 50 more times so I can just check each of those albums off. But yeah, this one really kind of hit home with me some. Plankeye, Commonwealth, a fantastic album by those guys, and excited to dig into it a little bit with you guys.
Yeah, me too, for sure. Before we get into that, let's check the mail.
Check the mail. Check the mail. Who, what, when, how, why? Check the mail.
All right. Our mail this week comes from our friend Chris Blanchard, who asked this question. If Christian music disappeared tomorrow as a genre and artists were just Christians making music in every music scene, would the church actually lose anything? Do we need CCM? Do we need Christian music as a genre? Or should artists just be Christians making music? Thoughts? Big question.
Leave it to Blanchard to give a question like this with a big black hole and expect us to dive right into it. It's weird to me because, like, CCM, Christian music as a genre, is the only genre per se that is defined by its lyrical content and not by the music style. So that's a really wide range, because y'all have mentioned it before. You have back before you had the worship shift, you had a whole lot more different styles, and that's still out there, but the prevalency now is the worship music.
Yeah.
So I think that really affects a lot of the answer to this question.
Yeah. It is interesting that, like, in a lot of ways it did disappear as a genre, and I felt like it's taken like a lot of years of artists just being Christians and making music to get us now maybe like back to a point where we're getting like a genre of Christian music again, but it does look a little different on this side. So yeah,
I think it's a double-edged sword, because I think that on one hand it's a necessary evil, because I know people that if you just said this is rock music, they wouldn't let their kids listen to it, but when you say it's Christian rock, they get to listen to it. So I think of a lot of people that would have missed out on finding the Toby Macs or the Skillets, because they would have been like, sorry, this is all lumped in. And like, I know people out there that are like, nope, rap is rap. So they see like Toby Mac, they would like, if their kid came home and they said, I'm listening to Snoop Dogg and Toby Mac, they would say that's the exact same like content and everything. So I think on one hand, you kind of need that so you can direct people to, I don't know, almost like if you say like something's family friendly. Like there's people that when they hear that, they're like, my kid can watch this. Or even cartoons. Like if you heard this, the Christian cartoon, you might think it's cheesy, but you'd know, okay, my kid's not going to come up to me afterwards and have like, like awkward questions to ask me or whatever.
For sure.
But I think on the
Nobody
other
wants
hand,
that.
you put bands in a box, and like I love Gable Price and Friends. And there's people that if you look at their works, I'm forgetting the name of it, but it was very like, that was me. It was like a lot of like, Christian stuff and all in there. And then they had another release, the one we cover on here, Jungle in the City, where there's some of the songs that like aren't necessarily like, oh, I need like Jesus or whatever. So I think that people get mad when you do put that label on there and you're like, that's not all Jesus. because go back to Toby Mac. I remember one person, someone saying, in reference to like his first album, they were like, "This guy says he's a Christian artist, but this song is just about ordering like a cappuccino," and it's like, yeah, it's just this funny. There's this like robot that shows up on his like album, ordering a coffee, and so I don't know. I feel like it's on one hand it's a necessary evil, but then also I feel like once people are in the door, it almost like hurts like some of the other artists that are trying to be real and authentic.
Yeah, it is interesting, and it does feel like like you said, a double-edged sword, because I feel like for the longest time, like I probably wouldn't have listened to half of the music that I listened to, would have been allowed to, had it not been Christian music. So I probably fall into that category of like my parents let me listen to it because it was Christian.
Yeah.
So I got exposed to a lot of stuff through that, which I'm really thankful for. And then like, I feel like I got cynical with it, like in the midst of it, because I knew too, like there are a lot of bands that you'd start to see bands begin to like cross over, like they blow up pretty big in the Christian scene, and then they get signed to a major label, and then there's the whole like they're not Christian anymore,
Sell out.
that whole thing going on, and then like I got to be cynical about the Christian scene, and frustrated by it, and then I feel like I went to like listening to the artists that were like Christians but not part of the CCM world. And that's like what I spent time listening to for so many years. And it's like one day I turned around and looked, and like the whole Christian music industry's gone. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. I think I kind of missed that. Yeah. And so it's so funny that like, even in my own heart, like I could be so cynical about something and then turn around one day and realize it doesn't really even exist anymore and miss it and feel like I think the church is missing something. With it not being here. I think about all the kids, like my own kids, like growing up in a world where there isn't Christian music to listen to outside of like worship music. And that feels like a travesty to me, because it made up such a big part of my life growing up. And so it's so hard because I want to be like, well, of course, artists should just be Christians and do their thing. And I know a lot of artists that do that, and those are some of my favorite artists in the world. But I also feel like the church does miss out on something if there's not a place for kids to go and like formulate a Christian worldview by like listening to Christian music, Christians that are making music and talking about how it impacts their life. And so I do think we would lose something, even though I don't think I want to admit that.
I'm on the same page with you, like with the cynicism throughout time and everything. And because you can be a Christian artist or a Christian making music, but you take a song like Kitty Doggy versus some of the stuff we'll listen to today, and the spiritual depth or lack thereof, that is something that could be lost out on. And kind of like what you said with the kind of like we mentioned MXPX earlier. I was allowed to listen to MXPX as a young person. There were bands out there that I was not allowed to listen to, and my mom, bless her heart, she let me listen to MXPX in the car with her half the time when I was in middle school. Yes, I think you were dead on that. There are opportunities there that would definitely be lost out on and missed if it was not a thing.
Yeah, it's funny how I feel like nostalgia has like beat up my cynicism over time. So
yeah, I get that for sure.
It's just getting old though. Well, Chris, that's a great question. There's a lot we could dig into. Maybe that could be a whole episode sometime. But don't forget, you can reach out to us with your own questions for the podcast at heyareyoullisteningpod@gmail.com. Also, we are on all the socials, and you can throw questions or comments or things on there too. And we'd love to hear from you and love to be engaged in that. So, but for now, let's play a game.
Let's play, it's time to play a game. Let's play, it's time to play a game.
All right, so since we're jumping in the time machine with today's review, I fear we jump in the time machine back to 1996 to the Dove Awards.
Okay.
So I've selected a couple of categories, and
I might have watched it that year.
Might be one of the last years I watched it.
so I'll give you the nominees, and you tell me who you think won the award.
Okay. I love
All
this.
right. So first off, we're looking at short form music video of the year.
Okay.
Your nominees are Sweet Angel by Jimmy Abeg, On the Fritz, Steve Taylor, Body B, Johnny Q Public, Two Sets of Jones, Big Tent Revival, and Flood, Jars of Clay.
Whew. All right. We can talk about this before we make a decision. Mims and I are working on this together.
Yeah. So Sweet Angel, On the Fritz, Body B, Two Sets of Jones, Flood.
So I'm not familiar with the first one. I don't know that.
I don't think Jimmy A would have been winning a Dove Award in 96. So
No. Steve Taylor, while I would love to see him have won it,
while his video was probably the most creative.
Yes, I don't see the Dove Awards giving him that nod. And he was already kind of beginning, like, in his producing, Squint label, all that at this point.
Yeah.
He wasn't as much of an artist then. That had already kind of, I think he had put on the back burner. I think Body B is the only single that I'm familiar with by Johnny Q Public. I know that album, but that's the only.
That was the big single off that record. Yeah. Killer song.
Oh, fantastic song. Fantastic song.
Probably too edgy.
Probably. Big Tent Revival. I feel like this was like the beginning of Big Tent Revival. Like, that's their first album. I don't think they had a second. This was 96, 97.
96.
96. I think that's their first album. I don't know, but they seem to be the one that the Dove Awards would embrace.
But that and then Flood.
So, but Flood.
But weren't there two Flood videos?
Were there?
I think there were two. I think there was a like a pre this thing blew up.
And then
Like they made a video and then the song blew up and then they're like, oh, we need to make a video for like MTV.
An actual,
because this is like a big deal.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they made two videos for that.
So that almost seemed to think that would divide and give it to Big Tent Revival.
Oh, you think so?
I mean, maybe not. Like, there's the nostalgia. Like I'm choosing here. If I'm the Dove Awards, I'm going Flood all day long. I think there's the cynicism coming out in me where I don't know that they would pick Flood.
But I at the same time think that if I'm the Dove Awards and I'm like, oh, this video is getting played on MTV a lot, then I'm probably thinking they're like, oh, yep.
That's
Look
the
at
one
our
we should
video.
pick.
It's getting on MTV.
Joel, are you trying to say that Dove Awards is more about popularity than actual substance?
Never.
That's actually our sponsor this week, is the Dove Association.
Wait, it's not Bojangles?
I think I would love, honestly, for it to be Two Sets of Joneses. I do remember that video.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably Flood.
Right. I think Flood's our final answer then.
All right. And Flood took home the Dove that year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Next up, we have Songwriter of the Year. Mark Harris, Michael W. Smith, Don Cook, Rich Mullins, Stephen Curtis Chapman. Is this another who should win?
Okay, I'm trying to think.
I think Mark Harris.
I recognize the name, but I don't know.
I think he's in For Him.
Okay.
We know that. No, this is just songwriter. It's not a specific song, right?
Yeah, just Songwriter of the Year.
Okay.
But I don't think he would have won that.
No, I feel it.
It's probably so.
Who is Don Harris?
Mark Harris.
No, Mark Harris.
Don
Harris.
Cook.
Don Cook. I just kind of meshed the two together.
Don Cook.
I don't know Don Cook.
He was probably a songwriter.
Is it DON or DAWN?
DON.
DON. Okay, I heard the female version.
Here, while you guys are going over them, I'll look who he is.
So interesting thing that I think I know is that Rich Mullins never won a Dove Award until after he passed away.
Okay. And this would have been.
But wait, would that have?
See, I was thinking he passed like 95, 96. If this is 97,
This could have been.
This could have been
This could have been the one he won.
immediately
He
posthumous.
won one, and his brother accepted it for him, and basically like chewed out the devil words.
Yeah.
The association for like giving him an award
I'll
after
cover
he
my mouth
died.
for my cynicism.
So Cook, he was a publisher, record producer. He worked with artists such as For Him, New Song, Avalon, Al Denson, Matthew Ward, and others.
I mean, there's some decent,
All right, I just
Decent
sort
names
of
there.
cheated a little bit.
sort of.
And I looked up when did Rich Mullins die, and he didn't die until 97. So I don't think this is
Okay.
Rich Mullins.
Okay. I would probably go Stephen Curtis Chapman here.
Yeah, who was the other one?
Rich Mullins, Don Cook, Stephen Chris Chapman, Michael W. Smith,
Oh.
and Mark Harris.
I feel like, as much as I love Smitty,
I think
and
it's.
I would
think
take
I'm with
Smitty
you.
over. Like if you put Chapman and Smitty head to head, I'm going Smitty almost every single time. But I think Smitty was in a little bit of a lull at this point. Stephen Curtis Chapman's on the rise. I'm going.
I think I'm going Chapman.
All right, and your winner is Michael W. Smith.
That's probably change your world.
Here's your next one. Artist of the Year. Was it DC Talk, For Him, Stephen Curtis Chapman, Point of Grace, or Michael W. Smith?
Michael W. Smith got songwriter. Are they going to give him artist as well?
I feel like there were a lot of like, just like you would win everything one year.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance of that.
Do you guys ever feel like it is weird when someone like loses like male vocalist of the year, but then they become artist of the year? I always thought that was weird with Dove, where it's like you're not the best, you're not the best group, but you are the best artist.
You're not the best in your category, but you're the best all around.
All right. So remind me again, DC Talk,
For Him, Stephen Curtis Chapman, Point of Grace, Michael W. Smith.
I think I'm either DC Talk or Michael W. Smith.
So Jesus Freak was 95,
Yeah.
right?
And this is looking, so it's important to remember this is the 1996 edition, so it's looking at 1995.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it's probably got to be DC
I
Talk.
feel like in light of that, it has to be DC Talk.
Yeah.
That was just too big.
And your winner is DC Talk.
Makes sense.
Next up, Group of the Year.
Back to your previous question. Can you win Group of the Year and artist?
Is it Point of Grace, Jars of Clay, For Him, Anointed, or DC Talk?
Anointed.
That's a
I think it's probably a little too early for Jars of Clay to win Group of the Year.
yeah.
For Him, it's funny they keep showing up. I feel like this is when they probably start declining.
I feel both them and Point of Grace were
Point of
starting.
Grace is maybe a little after them.
Maybe.
like, just a tiny bit.
No, you mentioned how an artist kind of checks all the boxes sometimes with Devil Words. Maybe this is DC Talk again.
Give me the list one more time.
Point of Grace, Jars of Clay, For Him, Anointed, or DC Talk?
Hold on, the way he said anointed, maybe there's a hint there.
Here, let me read it. Anointed, For Him, Jars of Clay, DC Talk.
Jars of Clay it is. Jars of Clay it is.
You think it's Jars of Clay?
I'm just taking the verbal cues here.
I would not listen to the verbal cue.
I'm going to be a contrarian, and I think go with DC Talk.
I'm going DC Talk. Yeah, I think the
And your 1996 Group of the Year is Point of Grace.
Point of Grace, Pog. New record came out like last week.
serious.
Yeah,
There's no way it's the original lineup.
it is.
Serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just keep in
didn't
mind,
know that was a thing.
Yep.
DC Talk was not the best group, but they,
But they
were
were.
the best artist. We have two more to go. New Artist of the Year.
Okay.
Was it Jonathan Pierce, Michael O'Brien, Greg Long? I'm not making them.
No, I remember every single one of them from their album covers.
Caroline Arends or Jars of Clay?
It's Carolyn Aaron's.
It is. He's not lying there.
It feels like it's got to be Jars
It's
of Clay.
got to be Jars of Clay. 100%. They would blow the rest of them out the water.
Jars of Clay.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that I was like, I have never even heard of the other four.
I've heard of all of them, but
Yeah.
for some of them, that might have been the only album
I'm
they
about to
put
say,
ever
I
out.
haven't heard of any of them in the 25 years since.
Yeah.
All right. And our final category, modern rock / alternative album of the year.
Here we
Okay,
go.
I'm excited.
Here we go.
All right. Is it Lonely House by Grandma Train?
Grandma Train.
Beautiful by the Walter Eugenes. Extraordinary,
How about them?
Johnny Q. Public. This Beautiful Mess, Sixpence None the Richer. Or Liver by Steve Taylor.
It's funny. DC Talk doesn't even get
Didn't
a
even get
nod.
the album.
Yeah. They didn't have the best album, but they did have the best song and the best artist.
It's actually Liver. It's a live
Liver?
album. Yeah.
Yep. It looks like liver.
Steve,
Yeah.
if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Steve had a shout out on Instagram to Joel several weeks back. Wasn't that Steve Taylor?
I don't think so. Unless I didn't see it.
I'm pretty positive I copied you in that. Like, he responded to the thing that I put on Instagram and was like, "Hey, Joel, you want to go out west and see Steve Taylor?"
Oh, yeah.
And then he responded back, "Yeah, Joel, come on."
That's right. I forgot about that. Steve Taylor, one of my favorite stories from my life is that when he had Squint Records, it was the cool thing to do to, like, if your band had a demo, send it in because you wanted, like, the Squint rejection letter because it was just awesome. And so we sent ours in, and it's like the best letter ever. I've got it. I've still got it
I
somewhere.
was going
I've
to
gotta
ask, do you
find
still
it.
have this?
Yeah.
I want to read this.
It's like so good.
Did
But
Steve Taylor sign it?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, super
He
cool.
hand delivered it.
I don't think Steve Taylor won a Dove Award, honestly.
No, I don't think so.
Especially for a live album.
No.
So,
So we had Grandma Train, Johnny Q. Public.
Walter Eugenes,
nope.
I don't think they.
Sixpence.
In my heart of hearts, I want it to be Sixpence. And I feel like out of all those records, that's the one that deserves it the most.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what the Dove Awards would give it to.
No. And I don't feel they would have gone, because that was Grandma Train's first album. I feel their second one was bigger than that.
I feel like it's got to either be Sixpence or Johnny Q.
Yeah, I'm going to lean Johnny Q. Public.
But that's like that's the first Johnny Q. Public record. Like,
But I don't see the Dove Awards embracing Sixpence as much.
even then. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Probably after for sure.
Yeah.
But
But at that point, I don't know that they would.
all right.
I'm going to go Johnny Q.
It
Public.
breaks my heart, but I'll go Johnny Q. Public.
And your winner is This Beautiful Mess, Sixpence None the Richer.
Should have
They
done it.
got something
Should've
right.
done it.
Yeah, that Johnny Q. Public record is so good too.
Very good. Very
so
good. You've
So you
mentioned
know-
that before, too.
yeah.
Y'all had mentioned Steve Taylor. So he had the most nominations without winning the award. He was nominated that year for Modern Rock Alternative Album, Modern Rock Alternative Recorded Song, Producer of the Year, Short Form Music Video, and Song of the Year.
Can you look up and see if he's ever won a Dove Award?
We'll see.
That would make so much. Surely for like producer, he
You
did.
would think. You
Probably
would think. 'Cause
for like
Yeah, for Take Me to Your Leader.
or Bloom or
Yeah.
or like
So many of those late 90s.
Sixpence None the Richer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says right here. So he's won. I think these are the wins. Or no, I think this is just him being. Okay, I see it now. He won 1987 Limelight the film. Then he lost all the other ones. He was nominated for a bunch of stuff with the Newsboys.
Yeah.
He did win a couple of Billboard
Interesting.
things. Yeah, this is a cool website I found earlier. I don't know if it's sketchy or not, so I'll tell you guys after I'm on here. But it had like a huge, like a lot of stuff on there about just the Dove Awards, like going through and all these kind of like facts about it. So it's a pretty cool website.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to see that. I'm kind of shocked that you said 87 and the Dove Awards existed then. I didn't realize that they've been around that long.
Let's see. First one is 1970 or 69. This goes back to.
Do what?
Let's see. Song of the Year, Jesus is Coming Soon by Mr. R.E. Winsett. Bill Gaither, Songwriter of the Year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
Billy. I feel like, to go back to what we were talking about earlier, I feel like one of the most interesting people to talk to in the whole industry would be Steve Taylor.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Just a guy who's probably seen so much.
He's like been everywhere.
Yeah.
I will say 1969, one of the categories was a gospel disc jockey.
Nice.
Mr. J.G. Whitfield won that. So
J.G. Whitfield.
Well deserved. That's awesome. Cool. Well, Brandon, thanks for taking us on that journey. We did okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I like that.
And I'm actually proud of the Dove Awards in some ways.
I think it is interesting seeing how there was a shift, because I feel like there's a lot of bands that I felt like were deserving that like didn't get nominated or would lose, like kind of in that late 2000s. But I feel like in the 90s, there was a lot of them that it was checking the box. Because even like, you know, if you would see a band like Audio Adrenaline like lose, you knew that they're losing to like news, like Peter Furler, Newsboys, or like DC Talk, or, you know, whatever. So yeah, I'm with you with the cynicism. I feel like I would have been like, well, let me choose the one I don't like out of these ones.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's shift and talk about what we've been listening to lately. What have you guys been spending time listening to?
For me, I had I've been listening to this band called Nostalgia. It was a guy sent me some demos he recorded, and it was funny because he was like, yeah, it's pretty raw. I don't have like a lot of production value, but I was like, man, I love that stuff. And so it was cool. It reminded me a lot of kind of like how we talk about like the Fapeste stuff. It feels like he just walked into his garage and was like, hey, let's record some stuff. And so he's over on, I think it's SoundCloud. I don't think he's anything on Spotify. But it was pretty cool. I feel like it's just cool nowadays, like how you don't have to have this giant record label or something behind you. Like you can start producing stuff like on your own, and like pretty good quality. One of my friends, Michael Logston, he's been doing a lot of like music stuff, and he's even been like touring around kind of the surrounding states. And it's just been cool to see that, like, man, here's someone who like loves music, like he's good at it, and he's been able to like pursue this without having to like, you know, sell everything off or have to like send out to like a record label or something. So I feel like it's pretty cool just seeing how you just have these like you know, your everyday person just getting to pick up their instrument and get to follow their passion.
That's cool. How'd you come across this stuff?
So he runs a page on Instagram, and I'm probably going to get it wrong, but it's like top 10 like albums.
Okay.
So he'd reached out and he mentioned that he had like some like stuff that he had released. And so I got to check it out and listen to it. So
yeah, I know that page. That's awesome. Super cool.
I've checked that page out.
Mims, what about you?
You know, I went down a rabbit hole here month or two ago, and was really big on a band called the Red Clay Strays. Love some Red Clay Strays. But then I started thinking, like, is there, like back in the 90s, you used to see like a poster, like, if you like this band, you like this Christian band. And but I started thinking that, and you can have a whole other conversation about, is Red Clay Strays Christian or not? That's a discussion we could have on an episode one day. But I started thinking in that mind, found a couple of guys, a guy named William Toll, another guy named Bryce Davis, that really kind of in that Americana folk kind of sound like that. Actually found a playlist somebody else made on Apple Music called Stomp and Holler Christian Folk. And it has these guys on it. It has a little bit of Josiah Queen on there. There's another artist you guys have had before, Chris Renzema has a song by him on there. A few others, but it's a little bit more in that vein of folk Americana kind of style. Been jamming to that stuff. Sometimes opening the store in the morning or late at night while cooking supper.
That's cool. That's always fun to kind of dig into. I miss those lists. Somebody needs. We should start producing ones like that, putting them out there.
I like how we went from having this argument earlier to like we're gonna start releasing like if you like Eminem, like John Rubin.
We have to pick the stuff that's like now though. That's the challenge.
Yeah.
Is like what's new.
John Rubin's timeless though.
He is going on tour technically, so he's something.
I like to think we willed that because I did mention to Jared Byers. So
Right. Yeah, you did.
I like to think we're responsible.
Well,
Skillet's Christmas album and Bleach's tour.
John Rubin is not dead yet, apparently. So that's good.
It's the side you want to be on.
So for me, I actually mentioned another thing by this artist recently, but over Easter, U2 dropped another EP.
Yeah.
So they did like an Ash EP, and then they dropped a Easter Lily EP. And I'm just gonna tell you, I don't know if you guys have listened to it yet, but it's really good. And like the first one was fine, but this Easter Lily EP is really solid, and I feel like some of the most upfront that like Bono's ever been about his faith. And so this is me speaking, but I think this is the best thing they've put out in years. And so I'm super digging it. I even got my wife to like listen to it and enjoy it. So
Nice.
yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
My wife is not a U2 fan, so sounds like she may be in the same vein as yours, so I might have her listen to it. I checked out the first one they released. I haven't heard this one yet. I saw a little bit of things online about it and wanted to check it out. I'm glad you mentioned it.
I think people generally are like really positive on this one.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
Kind of cool. But it's really good. So, and I think it can easily be considered to be Christian music. Even if you just look at like the song titles, it's like you've got one is called Scars, one is called Resurrection Song. Yeah, I mean it's just like, yeah, it's great. It's really good. So all right. Well, I think it's time for us to dig into the thing that we're here to dig in today. And so let's transition into that. All right. Well, today we are covering the album Commonwealth by the band Plankeye. I'm going to give a brief little bio to it, and then we can kind of talk about our history with this album and this band a little bit. So I did see some places say that Commonwealth came out in 96, and I feel like my Apple Music said 95. So I'm a little iffy on this, but we're just going to say 96. Released in 1996, Commonwealth is the third studio album from Plankeye, a key band in the 90s Christian alternative and post-grunge scene. Coming off the success of The Spark, this record marked a noticeable step forward in both production quality and musical maturity, blending melodic hooks with a gritty, guitar-driven energy. And the album features 10 tracks, including fan favorites like BC, Push Me Down, and Beautiful, and runs just under 40 minutes. It also stands out as the band's only album with a title track and one of their most visually promoted releases, with multiple music videos helping expand their reach. While some fans initially saw Commonwealth as a stylistic shift, it's since become one of the band's most beloved records, known for its emotional depth, sing-along melodies, and polished yet aggressive sound. I would probably argue that their next record was much more of a stylistic shift than this one. And then the one after that, even again.
They evolved, but at the same time, they had guys leave the band, and that, especially that later change, that
for sure.
facilitated that.
For sure. So, well, let's talk about our history with this band. Mims, since you brought this to us, why don't you let us know, when did you start listening to Plankeye?
I think my initial introduction to Plankeye was there was a sampler CD that Forefront Records put out called Seltzer, Modern Rock to Settle Your Soul. And that was one of the albums. I want to say the date on that one was 96. It had Audio Adrenaline on there. It had DC Talk on there. So it had Newsboys on there. It had some of your mainline stuff, but then it had Poor Old Lou. It had Grandma Train was on there. We mentioned Grandma Train earlier. It had Plankeye. So that was, and I think it was a song off of this album. BC was on there, and so that was one of my first introductions in youth group. Growing up in church, the student pastor at the time had a subscription to a company called Interlink, that they would send him videos, like DVDs of which DVDs were pretty early at that point. I want to say the ones that he had were VHS, but had different music videos for a lot of these Christian artists, and would give him the albums and stuff, and he would let us basically like rent them and borrow them and bring them back and stuff like that. And there was one of the music videos off of this album was on one of those sampler music videos that I borrowed at the time, and I was just like, I had listened. I was in that stage where growing up, like it was in a Christian household, music, like parents sang in the choir at church. Mom played the organ, all this stuff. And dad liked music. He liked secular music that he grew up listening to. There was a lot of 90s country in my household and everything as well. And I was listening to all of this stuff, and I had got plugged into the music that was popular on the radio then. And at the same time, I'm finding these artists that sound like those guys. Plankeye was one of the first like rock bands that I heard. I'm just like, okay, this sounds good. This isn't just like a knockoff or something that just doesn't have much musical quality or depth. This actually sounds good. I want to find out more about these guys. Then from there, listen to their previous album, The Spark. And I kind of agree with, there's a little bit of a shift here. Same thing that you said. There's not as much of a shift as they did going forward. But yeah, so this is middle school me finding good Christian rock music. Because this isn't something that that you would have heard even on main CCM radio play, any of the local Christian Christian, like if you heard this on the radio, it was going to be on their like 10 o'clock Friday night 1 hour show that you might catch a Plankeye song, and you were lucky if you did.
Yeah, I wish I could remember exactly what like led me to Plankeye and so many bands, honestly, from early on. I'm sure it was like songs from the Penalty Box and stuff like that, because I just started buying up as much of those, like the Seltzer, all those like samplers as I could, and getting exposed to bands. Plus, I feel like if anybody came out on Tooth and Nail, I was like giving it a shot. But Plankeye would have been early for that for me, probably. And so I definitely remember. I don't remember which album came first for me, if it was Commonwealth or The Spark, but that. Probably pretty close to the same time when I started listening to both of those.
I think Apple Music had them both dated at 95.
Really? They're both phenomenal records. I probably love The Spark almost as much as I love Commonwealth. But yeah, so this band for me was really influential and really big. And they're at a moment in music where the whole like rock music landscape is shifting. From like the whole like grunge scene that Nirvana brought in. So you actually get a lot of like that like influence in their music, but also towards more of them like modern rock alternative stuff that's like punk, that's like starting to like hit and come out. That's just a completely different sound. And I feel like an album like this is a really interesting bridge between those two worlds. And that's something that just hit me going back and listening to it, is like, man, there's like a lot of like grunge, Nirvana, Pearl Jam influence here, but then also like a lot of like Bush, and I don't even know who I would say like influence, Foo Fighters, whatever.
Even a little bit of Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, for sure. And so it's it's a little bit of an album between two worlds. And Sparks probably falls there too. But whereas I think their later stuff definitely moved in another direction altogether. So it's it is an interesting like snapshot in time. But an album that, man, I listened to this, I couldn't even count how many times. I know every line to every song still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And even as I started listening to them, just words started popping up in my head because they were like that vivid for me. And so this was a really big record for me. Yeah. Brandon, what about you?
Yeah, for me, it's like, when you find a band and you remember that exact moment. And for me, it was this Friday afternoon. I'm just kind of hanging out, and a friend told me to check them out. And I remember the date was, oh man, I want to say it was April 10th, 2026.
I knew that was coming.
No, like it's weird. The more I dive into this, there's so many bands like we recently talked to Cameron from Tooth and Nail. We talked about how sometimes we forget how far back their catalog is. And the recent like top 5 list he did, it kind of highlights like there's a lot of stuff out there. And I think that it's interesting with bands like this, that like, when I think of Forefront, I think of like Audrey Adrenaline. I think of DC Talk. And I feel like it kind of like stops there. And maybe if I really, if you gave me a couple of minutes, I could look up and name a couple more bands.
I think Grandma Train Bleach was too. Bleach started Forefront. I think Grandma Train was as well.
And like, so for me, like, it's just interesting to see these bands that kind of just like, I mean, I know for y'all it hasn't faded away, but I feel like for history, it's like someone like me comes along and it's like, you don't have this like, oh man, you have to look at this other stuff. And I mean, I feel like it's similar with like Goatee. I feel like people who listen to Goatee now, they would never understand that like House of Heroes and Family Force 5 used to be part of that same type of like record label. So yeah, for me, Plankeye was a band that I would hear every now and then, like when I see those old samplers that pop up, but it was never a band that I felt like there was anything online pointing to, oh, you have to check this out. So for me, it's cool getting to dive into an album that like I've never listened to, but I also feel like it's sometimes scary because I feel like I mentioned this with all of these, is that you don't go into here's what they've been building or here's why it was different. Like you just see it like in a vacuum. So you kind of don't get the stuff that, maybe I listen to it a few times and I start realizing, or even just afterwards getting to hear, oh, here's the story behind what this song meant or whatever. So I feel like that's the good and bad about it.
Yeah. I have to admit, Mims, like I've been a little nervous for this one with Brandon just because of like where it falls in the world of music, and that like I have no idea how Brandon reacts to grunge music.
I am really looking forward to hearing Brandon's take, either negative, positive. Like I think it gives a good insight because I do think you and I we're at a different level with music and just being old.
Yeah.
Like so I'll own the old. Joel is not old. I am old. So
But to your point, Joel, I don't know if y'all like feel the same way, but for me, I feel like I'm more of a lot of times an artist person than like a genre.
Yeah.
Cause I can say like, I talk a lot about John Rubin, but I feel like I would say probably 90% of other Christian rappers, like I don't listen to, or like I wouldn't care to listen to. And so I think that's what's weird sometimes is going into this, even if you tell me like it's grunge, it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm going to love this or, oh, I'm going to hate this. It could be something where it's like, you could be a disco CD and I might sit there and say, oh, I don't like this. But then I walk away going, man, that's crazy that they were, the lyrics are so strong or whatever.
I've got a random question for you that for some reason I just thought about here a minute ago. I know you're big Goatee Records and John Rubin and Toby Mac. Do you like the Goatee Brothers? Do you know the Goatee Brothers?
I know the name.
Okay.
I know they were nominated for a Dove Award in 1995.
They very well may have been. I highly doubt they won.
Did they just put out one album?
It was just the one. That was it. But it was Toby Mac and two other, and they were the guys who founded Goatee Records.
Okay.
But it's very much hip hop influence like that. And maybe something you could check out might like. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's got some age on it.
if Toby
It's got some
Mac's
age on it.
attached to it.
Brandon's there.
It's got to be true.
Was it was Grits on Goatee?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I really liked that early Grit stuff.
Yeah.
It was super creative. Kind of jazzy. All right. Well, let's dig into this record. Let's find out what Brandon thinks.
Drum roll.
Yeah. So let's talk about track number 1, Whisper to Me. I'll start out. I hadn't listened to this. I'd probably, I have Plankeye songs on playlists, but I hadn't gone back and listened to this album in a long time, from start to finish. And so the first note that I have on Whisper to Me is 90s alternative. It's just so of the moment. But there's that thing though, that it's like a bridge between worlds, that you've got that grunge sound, but you've also got this move towards something new and alternative. And I just wrote that there wasn't anything like this in Christian music, and maybe not even that much out there, in the secular world in that day either. I don't know. I love some of the lyrics, like the line, "Isn't it great how you work in spite of me?" And Scott's not my favorite vocalist in the world, but
He takes some getting used to.
but the way that he sings some lines make them stick with me. And so it's just interesting. But I think there's so much good and creativity. I love the actual whisper at the end of the song.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. And so, yeah. And the gospel's really clear in the song.
It is.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, I don't feel Plankeye has, for lack of a better term, a whole lot of lyrical depth. But they are very, very upfront about what they're singing about, which I like. I love this as an opener on this album. I think this is a great kickoff, and I think this song harkens back to their previous album a little bit more than the rest of the songs on the album do. I like, there's a lyric in here where it's funny to me how verse 1, he's kind of talking from his own perspective, and verse 2 is talking a little bit more from Christ's perspective. And he used the line, "I saw eternity collide to bring you to me." I really like that. And then Eric Ballmer's guitar solo at the end is good stuff.
Yeah.
He really kind of highlights that from the get-go. He does a lot in this album, but and I mentioned the whisper at the end as well. That was a good finishing touch.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, for me, I liked the voice. I saw kind of something like y'all said, that some people are like, it get some getting used to, or maybe it's not everyone's cup of tea. I enjoyed it. I felt like the guitar was really good. I think it was a great opener. I always say this, but I feel like it's just true that it's when you don't know a band, that first song is the first impression you have. So it either sets it up for, okay, I'm excited, or I hope this gets better. And so
First impression's a big deal.
Yeah, I think it's always good when, I'm like, oh, I want to listen, instead of, I'll come back to this. Let me play some of my music. So I think it was a solid opener. It definitely had me interested in wanting to listen to more.
Yeah, I think it checks both the boxes for you of, oh, this is good, and it gets better. So that's great.
The next song, BC, I Can Go. For me, it's a little short song. I think it works really well, given that the next song is longer. And so I found myself, I make a comment later about this, but I think just kind of the pacing and the arrangement of the album, I think that was really smart. That, once again, it's I'm not getting tired of it, or feeling like I need a break. So I feel like it's a really good move to have this short song, so you still get this like rock and all before you move into like the next song.
I'll agree there. I think that's one thing they do a good job of on this album is it's a lot of albums. I think in this time period, I feel Grandma Train was kind of guilty of this. You would listen to a Grandma Train album and every song sounded the same. I think the guys in Plankeye do a good job of this album to where they don't all sound the same. Some of them are similar, but they go back and forth. There's not. I don't feel there's any songs back to back on here that they're like, oh, that sounds just like the last one. I think BC was the first Plankeye song I heard. Again, the guitar work, like Eric Ballmer's doing guitar work under the lyrics and everything. It's not just the strumming in this one. It's a more of an up tempo than Whisper to Me was. It has a little bit more polished sound, and I think it really kind of hits Scott Soleta's vocal range better here as well. I feel like Whisper to Me, he's trying to get his inner Pearl Jam to come out a little bit, and I feel BC is a little bit more adept to his vocal range. And the line, people will come and go, Jesus remains the way, put your hope in heaven and you'll never be the same. And it's good stuff. This is probably maybe in my top 5 Plankeye songs.
Yeah, for sure. This one's up there. I give this one a 5 out of 5. And so it is a wonderful song. I'm pretty sure this was like the single off the record.
Yeah, I think it was. I think they made music video too.
Yeah, I actually watched the music video last night, and I'm like, this is so 90s, just goodness.
Yes.
And I'm like, we should all watch. I meant to say that. Let's all watch the music video before we get on and talk about this record, because it's so good.
Yeah.
It's just the classic, like, oh, I'm in a band, but I'm going to walk into the house and then just walk into the living room and pick up my guitar. Except he grabs the guitar out of the refrigerator, which is like a really funny moment. And then he just grabs it, puts it on, and then they kick in. Well, he's like, no, because it starts off with just the guitar and he's like singing as he walks in the house, and then he grabs it and then they all kick in. Yeah, it's great. It's such awesome. A good video. But yeah, I like how this one starts off just with the like light, clean guitar and the vocals. The kick in of it is great. There's a lot of, I wrote the same lyrics, Chris, that people come and go, Jesus remains the way. Like, that's just one of those lines that's like planted deep in my soul, for whatever reason. And, we had, who do we have on the other day? Oh, it was it Zeke who was talking about like, Zeke from Idle Threat talking about how like songs like help shape his theology, like what he was listening to.
I think so.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I know a band like this, like these lyrics are so deep in there, really have like just stuck with me and helped me understand God in different ways. And so, yeah, I really like this one. Plus the whole, like, just the idea of BC, like before Christ. And if you like really read through the lyrics of the song, you get like a picture of life before Jesus and then how God changed his life. And so I think it's clever all the way around, musically, lyrically, everything. Yeah, it's a great one. All right, track number 3 is Push Me Down. Mims, what'd you think about this one?
I like this one. When I first started listening to Plankeye, I almost feel like I initially thought this was a skip track, because it starts off low. It starts off different. At that point, like I wanted the Whisper to Me. I wanted the BC. I wanted the placement. Like that's what I was looking for. So this song started out, and I feel my first couple times listening to it, it was probably something I skipped. Then the more I listened to it, the more musical depth, the more lyrical depth I began to see there. I love the progression of the song, how it starts off like that, and it builds up to this lyric where he says, created an opaque mess in me. And it just builds up to that moment. Much more of an appreciation for this in recent years than when I first listened to it as a middle schooler. Very good song. I would now looking at it, it would be one of the top ones on this album for me.
That's good. Yeah, I wrote down. I want to know what Brandon thinks about this one, because it does like I hear like the Nirvana influence on this song, and it does feel like that kind of grunge, post grunge kind of thing. There's interesting stuff like in between after the first chorus, before the second verse. There's that weird loud guitar that's like, hold
on, what's it like?
Just like I just did. Which I'm just like, it's an interesting choice. Yeah. So I don't know if I might be like, this might still be a skip track for me on the record. But I will say when like that chorus E part of like the created me part hits in every time, I'm like, okay, yeah. I love the juxtaposition between this like really down and then these like big moments. And so I do think that there's like a lot to love there.
Yeah, I think I feel like I'm with like Chris, where I feel like when you're younger, these tracks come on and you're like, I'm skipping it. And I think as I've gotten older, I appreciate bands that can do this well, because there's some bands where it just feels like it's very awkward, and you know, it's almost like I think like we Family Force 5, we talk about how I think like for you were like, okay, there's too much partying going on. Whereas for me, sometimes I felt like whenever they would slow down, like sometimes it would work, but other times I would be like, this is too much of a shift. Like I feel like you almost just need to keep it in like high gear the whole time. Yeah. And for me, I like it wasn't like a standout track for me. But I think that as a band that like you have to have those little slowdown moments. I think that it fit well in it. And like I said, I think it kind of highlighted BC a little bit more, that I wasn't like tired or wanting to skip, because I was like, okay, I'm only 6 minutes in, right now, versus like thinking, okay, I've just spent the last 8 minutes listening to stuff. So next up we have Struck by the Chord. Joel, were you struck by the song?
Yeah. So I think out of all of the more like grungy songs on the album, this one's probably my favorite. And I don't think this is one that I was trying to like if somebody asked me to sing Struck by the Chord, like before I went back and listened to this, I would be like, I don't remember how that song goes. But it's funny, even as we're just like sitting here talking about other songs, like this is one of the songs that's like going in my head right now. I feel like this one's really good. There's great lyrics here. Like my words are much too loud as my tongue's on fire. Like good really stuff. There's a verse, is it the second or the third verse, where it's just vocals and the drums. And I feel like, man, it's such a nice touch, and it works so well for this song specifically. And then there's like the juxtaposition of singing and screaming kind of on this buildup that's happening. And then I feel like, man, this song is one of the best examples of a song like deconstructing, like at the end of it, of like having all these instruments in and being really big, and then slowly just like decaying, dropping things off to where like it just ends with literally the bass guitar, which is the perfect ending for this song. It's such a cool ending, and this is a great song. Yeah. Really good.
100%. I think, just to echo everything you guys said, it gives yet a different picture of Plankeye. Like we don't have repetition in the styles here, and from that Nirvana sound, like you said, and the breakdown of the music itself, and the where he's talking about his pride and his tongue, and then he uses the line, "Bring death that I might see life." You see that picture of death in the music itself. Like deteriorates to a point. Yeah, no, I think this one's definitely one of the heavy hitters for this album.
Yeah, I really like this song. I think that this song does something that a lot of songs miss on, and that's like kind of the language they're using, where it's this like quote unquote like Bible language about like, oh, my tongue's on fire, or just kind of like, I feel like I've heard stuff with this type of like language in it that comes across as like very cheap.
Yeah.
Or very much just like you've got like the people that are like, we're trying to outcool, the world or whatever. So it's like, we're going to go around wearing leather vest or whatever. And so I think this song does that really well, in that the lyrics, there's that line that you're walking of like being too cheesy or just being very like real, and like using language that like that does like get the point across. So I think just for that, it was another really big plus to the song, that it's a song that could have been cheesy, but they were able to make it into a really good song.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that one a lot. All right, what about track 5, Placement?
Placement. This was one of the ones that really got my attention when I first listened to Commonwealth. Just because I was in the mold of listening to MXPX and bands like that. This really kind of hits some of that. It kind of harkens forward to Scott Stiletto when he's in Fan Mail later on. This is a little bit more in that vein, but the driving music, this is a song that I would love to play drums on. If I were playing drums on any song on this album, this is the one I would pick first.
Not Bicycle?
Not Bicycle. Nope, it would be this one for sure. But I also like the line he said, talking about pledging allegiance to plastic idols and Rubber Soul.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's any other musical reference to Rubber Soul that I've heard besides the Beatles. And seeing that was, I thought that was neat. And just the way he ends it, God's in his holy temple, let us all be silent. And it's let us all be silent, let us all be silent. Yeah, he's not silent.
Yeah,
he's screaming there at the end. So it's a neat juxtaposition there, how the song ends up. I love this one. Absolutely love this one.
I love both of the screams that happen in this song. Like the one at the end, let us all be silent. Yeah, like that one's so great just because of what the line is.
Yeah.
But then the totally off the wall verse 2, when he just like screams God and like all the instruments join in and being crazy for just like a second, and then it just drops right back down into the rhythm.
Yep.
It's so crazy. But so cool. Like I loved that the first time that I heard it. Yeah, this is a great one. It's super catchy. And it might like lean a little bit towards where like their next record, One and Only, or Fan Mail eventually went, but I feel like it's like a better version of all those things.
100%.
And so it's such a good song. Yeah.
I really like the scream in it.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, I feel like just the pacing of the album like has been like really good. Like it's kept me engaged, and I think that this kind of opens the door to, I don't know if you guys felt the same way or whatever, but I feel like the second half of the album was even stronger than the first half, and I feel like this kind of like opens the door. So like, I don't know if that's just someone who's like, oh, I've never listened to this band, so now I'm starting to kind of appreciate or understand what I'm listening to. But I just felt like for me, it kind of starts a build where I feel like the music's even better on the second half. So speaking of that, Commonwealth is the next track. Chris, how do you feel about that?
Didn't you say this was their only album that had a title track?
According to what I pulled up.
Yeah. I never realized that before you said that. I kind of want to look into that. I like Commonwealth. I think there's it's a very nostalgic, happy kind of sound to it. But yet it's not like Placement's one. I'm gonna drive 80 miles an hour in the car, roll the windows down, and just rock. Commonwealth is a little bit more of something, a little bit more chill, happy-go-lucky kind of sound to it. Which again, different from the rest of the album.
Yeah.
I like the that chorus. Life is more than gold. Friends are more than old. Memories are the Commonwealth. Like memories, we have that in common. That's what binds this group together. Is those common memories, those core memories like that.
Yeah, this one is good, and it kind of again remind me a little bit of like I wrote down like leaning towards the future of Plankeye a little bit, and the sound that they're like moving towards, but like it's peppy. I love the like pre-chorus of it. It's just I think Eric sings that part, so you have like a vocal shift. And it's just kind of a different sound, which I think works really well. It's got a cool music breakdown. Not my favorite song on the record, but it's good. And like you guys have said, it's a good change of pace. Like if anything, we're not stuck in a rut on this record at all. Like it's constantly moving around, but yet there's cohesion.
Yes.
Yeah. I enjoyed the guitar solo that's in this. I think the alternating vocals was good too. That's something I enjoy bands that have like an alternating vocals. I feel like it adds a lot to songs. So I feel like those were two boxes that were checked off in this one. Our next one is He. Joel, what do you think about He?
I don't have a lot of notes on He. I wrote down it's a darker track. Kind of the grunge sound is back again. I like the guitar work and the guitar tones that are happening. But I don't have a ton of notes on this one.
I like that. The note I wrote here was the music doesn't let up. It still has my attention. And I think the themes he goes into here with time and complacency, lamenting his own personal move away from Christ. And you can this is one of the songs I feel you can hear the angst in Scott Soleto's voice a little bit more. In terms of the kind of the grunginess like that, but it kind of drives home the theme of the lyrics here as well. I feel. I don't have a ton else with it. In my opinion, this is one of the weaker ones on the album. But I do feel it fits really well with Scott Stileto's vocals.
For me, I really like this song. I really like the soft verses than these heavier choruses.
Yeah.
I just really like a song that has like layers. So I like a song that's this kind of like you see these waves of sounds where it's like getting louder then getting softer and like doing like kind of twists and turns. So for me, I enjoyed that.
That's cool. Track 8, Bicycle. This is the one in our earlier conversation. Even before I started listening to it, I just wrote down 5 next to it. Just because I just have so many memories of this song. So, Mims, tell us about Bicycle.
It's this one. So as to where Brandon said he felt placement had the turn the page moment. For me, I feel the first 7 songs are kind of lumped together, and then the turn the page moment begins at Bicycle for the last 3 being in a little bit different set. It's different lyrically from the rest of the album as well.
Totally.
It's a not necessarily a 180, but it's definitely a left-hand turn for them lyrically. And just talking about the different interactions, talking about his wife and then the person he's talking to, you're way too old, and when did you stop living anyways? Just it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and I don't know that I would give it a 5 out of 5. I don't feel it has the nostalgia for me that maybe it did for you.
Yeah.
But it's still good. It's not. There's quality there, even with the change lyrically. It's still today. It's a song I like listening to. In middle school, no. But today I still like listening to this song.
I feel like it is almost more, it hits better.
Yes.
Like as you're older.
Yes.
Although it hit great for me when I was in high school and early in college too, for whatever reason. I don't know what it is about this. This song feels so 90s to me. Just like the epitome of like a 90s song. The fact it feels almost disconnected in ways that would probably bother me, other than the fact that it feels like a 90s disconnected song. But like I love the parts about being way too old and just the random like riding my bike, and then like how you connect that into like the idea of I can worship him anywhere. And they're just all these different ideas. I think about how like older generations in the church look at younger generations in the church and see like, well, you're doing it in like a new way, and I don't know if we can do it that way. Like that's not the way we've done it. I think that's like the idea they're driving to, but they're using like really interesting language to like do it and get there. But I just think the chorus is so dadgum catchy. It's just really singable. And I love the la-da-da-das too.
Yeah,
it feels so
that part's
90s.
very singable.
It's just it's like a really good of the time song.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I really like the message of the song. I was having a conversation the other day just kind of about like yeah, sometimes you like the ways that might seem like really strange or weird, like are the paths you need to be on. And so I feel like listening to this, I was like, yeah, he gets it. He's saying this. I'm gonna start quoting this song whenever I give that chat to people. So I feel like it was cool to have like a conversation, and then like a little bit later in the day, you're like, oh, this is really cool that I'm picking this up.
I love that.
We moved to our next song, Beautiful. Joel, what do you think about the Beautiful?
Yeah, I love the song. Obviously, it's a love song, quoting a lot of the like weird, awkward lines in scripture about that a man would say to his wife, which is interesting, but it works really well in the song.
It does.
I always feel like that like line about I'm blanking on the specifics of it, but your lines fall in good, favorable places is such like a almost like sketchy line, but it's so funny, and many daughters have done well. Anyways, I don't know. This is a great song. It's really good. It quotes Proverbs 31 a lot. I love that it's like just a different feel, like you talked about the shift happening. Because these songs at the end do just have a different feel and vibe than the rest of the record. But this one still like gives me like the 90s vibes, but from it's something that this whole album is not done yet at all, and yet it pulls it off. I feel like really well. So yeah,
This is a song that has then an absence of angst that a lot of the rest of the songs do. There's a lot of that post-grunge, grunge angst, especially in the beginning, and I feel his vocals do well with that, and I think this is actually, as you said, a love song, and he does really well with it, singing musically across the board. It's and this being able to pull that off after going from songs like Placement and even Commonwealth and some of the earlier songs in the record, being able to pull this off, and it's not something where I'm like, nope, next track. I'm still engaged with it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of value there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Brandon?
Your silence is
Yeah,
deafening.
I think it was a cool song that kind of like there's this build to it, and I enjoy that. I think as I was listening to it, like I didn't know if he was singing about like a daughter or a wife, and so I feel like now there's more context to it. So it's like, oh, okay, I know what he's talking about now.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's a weird place where you're like, I don't know who you're singing about.
I can agree with you that sometimes we do that in Christian music, which is not great. Okay. All right. Last track of the album is Who Loves You More?
I feel here there's the return of the angst. There's because he's wrestling with that idea of who loves you more than Jesus, and he says straight up, I end up wrestling with God over you. That angst is back, even though I don't feel it as much musically here. There is the kind of up and down with it, and that you hear it some, but I'm not. I like the song. I like the return of the angst. I think it kind of fits the album well. I don't know how I feel about this being the closing song musically. Lyrically, I think it's perfect in terms of a closing song. And faced with that question of who loves you more than all the other things we run to and all the other things we try to hold on to. Lyrically, I think it's very, very good as a closer. Musically, I'm not so sure.
What would you like? Do you have one in mind that you would switch out with, or do you just feel like
in terms of the way the album is set up and the left hand turn, I feel you get with the final 3 songs. Now that you ask me that, I don't know that it sets up well going Bicycle Beautiful back to like Placement. I don't think that Placement would be a good wrap up song here.
Maybe Struck by the Chord.
Yeah, Struck by the Chord, I think would fit well there. Even Almost Push Me Down, like I think would be a good closer.
okay?
Like I said, lyrically, I think Who Loves You More is good as a closer, but musically, I don't like it as the closer here.
For me, I kept waiting for it to like hit. Like I was like, okay, I know that it's like we're gonna have this like kick in. So I enjoyed when it kicked in. I think for me, I liked it as an ending. I couldn't think of a song that would fit more, and I don't know if that's maybe just at like at a concert, maybe that way of kind of thinking about it is that if I was at a show, I would think, yeah, I think it'd be cool to have this, like the show's almost over, then it's building, then you have this huge like kick. So I think that maybe looking at it from a concert way, I feel like it fits. But like for like, album wise, I could kind of see where you're thinking of. It's like, yeah, what's something else that could maybe wrap this up or leave me with like, okay, that's a little more like satisfying, like last bite of this album.
I think this is a really good one. And I think I like it as a closer. There's like early on in the song, like a simplicity to it. Just the chorus of there's nothing to worry about, like who loves you more than Jesus. Like it's just simple. And there is wrestling that's there. And the kind of wrestling that's like, I think deep, that we all have to like come face to face with when we find other things in this life that we love a lot. But I love just the simplicity that it comes back to with that. And I like it. I like it a lot as a closing track. Although I could definitely see the argument of like doing something that maybe is a little bigger or more intense at the end. So yeah. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about just kind of closing thoughts and maybe jump into ratings. So
I can go first.
Sure.
Having not listened to it, I think this is definitely an album that falls into the I'm glad I listened to it category.
That's a win. That's a win.
I think it was nice. I knock like the 90s and 80s a lot as just being like a weird place. But I think that there's some like really good music that was like put out like during that time, and I think this definitely is something that that I think like was good. And for me, I think it maybe lands at like 3.5 stars, I would say, for it.
Cool.
So
Hey,
yeah, love
3.5 coming from Brandon on a 90s album.
It's pretty good.
I'll take it. I was expecting lower.
I don't think you gave that to 7 Day Jesus.
I'm about to say,
still bummed
inflation wise, that's 4.7 or something.
Very true there. Very true.
Yeah. So it's hard for me to erase nostalgia from the picture when it comes to an album like this. And so, which I know I've talked about a lot of times, but yeah, I just love this album, and I tried my best to listen to it with fresh ears, and I think I did in some ways. I was able to do that, but maybe like Bicycle is proof of the fact that like, no, nostalgia just wins out every time. Like
5 out of 5 stars.
five. So but I do think, I think this is a hard album to make for a band like Plankeye, where they are. And so I think when you get the fuller picture of this band and you listen to the One and Only and you listen to the Spark or even Spill before and figure out that this is a band that's becoming something, I think there's a really unique space that happens for artists sometimes when they're on a journey, that sometimes the journey is better than the destination. And I think that Commonwealth is proof of that fact, that for Plankeye, the journey, I think, was better than the destination. Like, if the One and Only is the destination, and you could say whatever about like Relocation or whatever afterwards, it's almost a different band.
It is.
But if the One and Only is the destination, then I like the journey a lot better. And I think for me, this is a 4. It's a great record. Yeah.
I'm like you. The nostalgia is so heavy. It's hard for me to look at it without rosy colored glasses on. So trying to listen to it and be fully objective. I think I'm right there with you, a 4 out of 5. I feel, again, despite what I feel is a little bit of a weak ending, I think the rest of the album holds so much weight. Again, lyrically, they're not the most poetic, the most in-depth. Musically, I think for especially a Christian or a Crindy band at the time, I think musically they're very, very solid.
Yeah.
Between Eric Ballmer's guitars and I forget the drummer's name, Adam something, but just solid musically. I think they fit well in that space where they were. They did a good job of navigating from the Spark to Commonwealth. Again, a little bit more polished, but still having that post-grunge sound to them. I would give a solid 4 out of 5 on this one.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I love that we're kind of all in the same spot on this. So great record. Go check it out if you haven't yet. Let's talk about our lyric of the week.
It's time for the lyric of the time.
So the lyric of the week this week comes from the song Placement. Don't bow down before an empty tomb, where a pretty face it makes me stumble, and another chance is a hidden fall, a hidden fall. You made that thing with your hands, but you kneel down in front of it and pledge your allegiance and all you owe to plastic idols and a rubber soul. But God is in his holy temple, so let us all be silent. Good stuff. Good stuff. Mims, thanks for joining us today. This is fun. I'm glad we were able to make it happen finally.
I was very, very glad, was looking forward to it, and we'll make a return again soon. Who knows?
Yes. You'll have to finally bring some MXPX to force Brandon to listen to.
We will do it. Challenge accepted. Challenge accepted.
Looking forward to it. So, dude, this has been a blast. Anywhere you would want people to find you anywhere? Or do you prefer to stay hidden?
Listen, I'm on social media if you really want to go on there and follow me. I don't post much at all. I more read everything else. I'm there for the observation, not the posting. But if you want to find me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and X. I think Instagram and X, I'm Topher Mims, I think. Chris Mims was taken. Evidently, there's a guy at the Wall Street Journal named Chris Mims, and so he kind of grabbed all of those. So I had to settle for Topher. But yeah, find me on there if you want to follow. I can't tell you it's going to be interesting, but I'm at least there.
That's awesome. And of course, you can find us online, join the conversation. We have a brand new Instagram. And so we'd love it if you want to follow us at Hey, Are You Listening Pod on Instagram. Hey, we're excited to jump back into this with you guys next week. Hope you have an awesome one.
Hey, are you listening?